Deloitte is an accounting firm that operates in 150 countries worldwide. More than 50% of the employees at Deloitte Amsterdam are international, which means that Deloitte operates within multicultural teams. In this video, the question that we are going to answer is the following. What is the influence of different cultures on the jobs that are done and the work culture at an accounting firm like Deloitte Amsterdam?
Okay, thank you very much for participating. First, I want to ask you who you are, where you're from, and what your function, your work function is within Deloitte.
Okay, so I am Jun Infeliz. I am from the Philippines, and I started my CPA career in the Philippines with EY.
Exactly.
So from the Philippines, after working 4 years in EY, so I moved to Malta in 2018. I joined a non-Big Four firm. So I had 2-year contract, fixed contract there. And then after 2 years, so that was in 2020, I got bored. I missed the Big Four firm, the challenges that I used to get from EY, and so I joined Deloitte Malta office, and then I stayed there until August 2022. That's when I transferred to the Netherlands and joined Deloitte Amsterdam office.
Okay, so you have work experience for EY in the Philippines, for a smaller company in Malta, and then Deloitte Malta, and now in Amsterdam.
Exactly.
Okay, was it very difficult for EY in the Philippines or for Deloitte in Malta as for Deloitte Amsterdam, or are the tasks quite the same? How can I see that?
Well, I think there are a lot of similarities, especially if I'm going to compare the function of an auditor in the Philippines or EY Philippines and also Deloitte, both here in the Netherlands and in Malta, especially because, well, they're both included in the Big Four firms, right? Deloitte and then EY. Obviously, one of the big differences I noted when I first joined also Deloitte Malta way back in 2020 was that Deloitte was a bit behind in terms of audit methodology or audit tool. Sorry, not audit methodology, but audit tool. Because when I joined EY in the Philippines in 2014, in 2014, the audit tool that we were using is kind of resembling the EMS that Deloitte is still using nowadays. But then after 2 years, I think it was in 2016 then, EY started to implement like a cloud-based audit tool. So it's pretty much like what is Omnia for Deloitte. So in that sense, I could say that Deloitte was a bit behind in terms of implementing a cloud-based audit tool. But in terms of audit methodology, I think there are not much of differences. Well, for sure, different terminologies like
for the difference between Deloitte Malta and Deloitte the Netherlands, the tasks were quite the same. It wasn't a different audit. Okay.
Like the nature of the job is definitely the same.
What about the differences of the people, how they work? Are they similar or are they really different?
I think definitely in terms of work ethics, I would say it's a universal thing. Like what we consider as ethical in the Netherlands is also what we consider as ethical in Malta, in the Philippines, and maybe all around the world, you know? So yeah, I think in that aspect, it's pretty much the same. I did not note any differences among those, 3 countries, 3 offices, basically.
And just on how people work, on how they act at the office, how they communicate with each other, are they also quite familiar to each other, or are they quite similar?
Definitely differences. There were differences, definitely, especially because we have different cultures, you know. Culture shock, especially me coming from Asia, you know, is that Dutch people are very straightforward, very direct. And Asian people in general are not like that. And it is also very evident in terms of, in the work culture. So, especially here in Deloitte, Netherlands, if, for example, if you have some concerns as, let's say, you're a manager, and then you have some concerns regarding the performance of the senior or junior staff. More likely than not, or more often than not, the manager would, especially the Dutch managers, would directly tell the subordinates, the senior junior staff, that, hey, this is what you did, this is what you need to do. This is the mistakes that you committed, and this is how you can resolve those mistakes. But in the Philippines, it wasn't like that, because it's more of like an indirect approach. So we kind of sugarcoat such that we try really to be sympathetic. We try to be very sensitive as well, because we kind of, okay, even if my senior staff, for example, did something wrong, I would always consider, okay, what is the best way to approach this one such that senior staff would not hurt his or her feelings. So we are more like compassionate, I would say, in that aspect. So we're really not that too direct in comparison to Dutch people. And I think that's also the same case for the Maltese. I think the Maltese people, in terms of also work culture, is kind of a bit similar to how they work or how Filipino work. So definitely, in comparison to the Dutch colleagues, Dutch definitely are very direct, and then I would say Filipinos, and then Maltese, they're not very direct. They're so indirect in terms of work culture.
And what is something that we as Deloitte Amsterdam can learn from your experiences overseas?
Both ends could definitely learn from the others. So I think definitely Deloitte Netherlands can learn something from how we work there in the Philippines by maybe integrating more team activities. I think what can EY Philippines or Philippine companies in general could learn from how we work here in the Netherlands is the structure, because here in the Netherlands we have relatively flat hierarchy. You know what I mean? Especially in Deloitte Netherlands, like the directors, the partners, they don't have their own offices, they don't have their own cubicles. But in the Philippines, the audit partners, audit directors, and even the audit managers, senior managers, they have their own cubicles. So the hierarchy and the corporate structure is very much evident, while here in the Netherlands, it's nothing like that.
And do you see that often? And do you think that helps to the team? Do you think that improves the team quality and also the team structure? Or do you think that the diversity helps with it?
Definitely, I think diversity is one of the best things that Deloitte Netherlands and Amsterdam per se has to offer. You know, because I think if I would compare Deloitte Amsterdam to the other Deloitte Netherlands offices, I think we have the biggest percentage of expats, and I do think that it's really beneficial. This is just my own opinion, but I think inclusivity at workplace is very much important, because one, we get to know different cultures, we get to know from each other, and then two, in my personal experience, it made my adjustment to the Dutch work culture easier, because just thinking or realizing now, when I first joined Deloitte Netherlands in 2022, my first client was Upfield. And as you know, or as you may have already known, Upfield is a very international team. Like, I think more than 50% of the team is actually expats. And I think it really helped in my adjustment, because I cannot imagine if it was, let's say, 80% Dutch, I would be having the difficulty in adjusting, because I am not saying that this is true to all the Dutch colleagues or the Dutch, yeah, members, but there's the tendency that the Dutch people would just speak in the Dutch language, and yeah,
Yeah.
inevitably, as an expat who doesn't know how to speak in Dutch, I would just feel out of place, right? But that wasn't the case with Upfield, because since more than 50% are expats, so everybody's speaking in English. So I really felt really the inclusivity, and inclusivity within the team, and hence really helped me in adjusting to the new work, to the new company.
Yeah.
I think it really helped me.
But do you also think that it's beneficial to the results of the audit? That also the audits get better by
Mhm.
all the different cultures, all the different experiences.
I think so. I think so, because especially for the expats who has been with the other big four firms from the other countries, definitely there are those experiences which can be contributed to the team. You know what I mean? For example, if I had like the knowledge and experiences I gained when I was still with EY Philippines, I definitely some of them, if not all, I applied them when I was doing my audit now, or doing my function as junior manager for the past 2 years, now that I'm working with Deloitte Netherlands. So definitely, I do think that was valuable to the team. Like I was able to give new perspective about how to go about a particular audit issue or accounting issue. So I think that is definitely one of the benefits of having that diversity in the team, bringing in diverse ideas, diverse perspectives.
Okay, that were my questions. So thank you very much, June. I will end the recording now, and then.
Concerning the nature of the job, one of the big differences between the Netherlands and the other countries John has worked in was the audit tool and terminology. However, in terms of audit methodology and ethics, there are not many differences. On the field of work culture, John noticed more stronger differences. He experiences Dutch people as being more direct and straightforward than each Asian or Maltese people. The main thing that Dutch people can learn from other cultures, according to John, is being more human-oriented on the work floor. John mentions that the positive thing in the Netherlands is the flat hierarchy, which makes it easier for newcomers to integrate. We can thus conclude that diversity within an organization is good in the sense that people can learn from each other. All kind of different experiences and perspectives contribute to the teams by optimizing the collaboration and audit quality.